I am lucky enough to be chatting with one of my favorite analysts in the HR space, Lagunas, who is with Aptitude Research.
Hello, my
Thanks.
little blueberries.
Yes. Thank you for joining HR Snacks. I'm so excited to have you on.
Oh, I'm ready to snack. Yum, 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 yum.
Yeah, all the snacks, all the
What are we
snacks.
munching on today?
You know what? I'm on coffee today. Just coffee all throughout the day, trying to follow from HR Tech. So we just got back from HR Tech. I want to know, what was your favorite event or session from HR Tech this year?
Oh, this is easy. It was actually a panel that my buddy Tim Sackett moderated with TA leaders from Marriott and from the Compass Group, Shay and Megan. And they were actually supposed to talk about how they were implementing AI in their TA operation, and they did. But what I loved about it so much was like they weren't sitting up there talking about like this tool, this feature. The two of them were so badass. They were like, they knew their business. They were talking about like the impact that they were having to move faster, hire better. And like, by the way, it was all off the top of their heads. They didn't have like slides they could reference. They didn't have notes in their hands. Like the two of them just like knew their shit. And I was here for it. I was just like, clap, 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 clap. You know, it was just so good.
That is amazing, especially when you can elevate a session like that beyond the product marketing jargon. Well, one of the main reasons I wanted to have you on is that you surfaced a report that ISOL recently released. They went out, they surveyed 1,000 HR professionals in the US, and they were looking at what are the biggest challenges, what are the biggest pain points, and it really is surfacing something that you and other HR leaders across the industry have really tried to call to attention. And it's this morale issue that we have, burnout issue that we have across HR. So tell me a little bit about that, how you first started surfacing this, and then we can dive into the report a little bit.
Sure. Well, the way that I surface things, I'm an industry analyst, so I'm a researcher at heart. But I also consider myself like a bit of an anthropologist. Like I'm not just tracking like new features and new releases from the vendors. I'm not just tracking like the buying behavior on the practitioner side. I'm sitting down with people like and talking about how things are going. You know, what are you working on? Like, oh, what's the tea over here? How are you feeling? You know, blah, 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 blah. Like, I need to know the space in which we're trying to innovate. And I've got to tell you, across the board, I'm worried. You know, I mean, you talk to people whether they're in, I mean, talent acquisition has been dealt a really shitty hand, but in the HR space, like it has been an thankless job for so long. People don't know how much work is actually being done because it's invisible and that you want it to be invisible in some ways. Anyway, I just, across all the conversations that I've had, there is just this tenor, this note of edge where it's like, almost like, we have to figure this out. We have to make it through this next cycle. And I'm like, I mean, they literally like, we're going to have to make it through, you know, because I feel like we're at a precarious point where a lot of the change and innovation that's in front of us depends on strong and stable HR leadership, like savvy HR leadership. In the morale issue that is eroding some of these foundational aspects of the HR organization are putting those initiatives at risk. Like the change fatigue is real, the disruption fatigue is real, the cultural, social, economic fatigue is real. And I just feel like out in the vendor space, it's for a lot of them, sunshine and rainbows. They're oversimplifying things and ignoring these increasingly glaring problems.
There are 2 points from that ISOL research that stand out that I wanted to kind of dive into a little bit. One of them kind of relates to, what I just mentioned. HR is just grossly overtasked right now. And so like less than 10% of HR professionals feel like they can get through their daily task on a consistent basis. And they feel like they need to outsource over 30% of their tasks to manage those efficiently going forward. So those to me are huge. And that ties into, I think, the HR technology, the vendors in the space, and what really needs to happen from an automation standpoint and from taking and removing as much of that burden as possible off their plates. I think we're starting to make some headway there, but I want to know your thoughts on where we're at with that and what could be done to help.
The burden is a hangover. Like we've always been overburdened and under resourced. And I think one of the big problems that we have in our profession is during COVID, we were actually handed a lot of resources. Like we were saying that we were told, go buy, get more contractors in, like hire more people, buy these shiny AI tools. A lot of the buying that was done during COVID was intended to increase operating capacity. We were actually trying to keep up with the volume of work that was being created for us. Unfortunately, another problem that we've always had is that we have never been very tech savvy. And so while we are getting better at evaluating partners and maybe engaging the vendor ecosystem, we really like to think we're going to buy a solution out of the box. And my friend Tyler Weeks, he's the head of people analytics over at Marriott. He says the system is not the solution. The software that you buy is only one part of it. And that's why I'm a little worried about the burnout in HR. If we don't have the headspace to really be thoughtful about how we're going to leverage the most modern technologies to be better, there's a push for efficiency now, but I'm seeing the best HR leaders are taking this and saying, you know what? Efficiency in HR is excellence in HR. We do need to be low friction in the places where we can. We do need to be freeing up the human to be leaning in on the places where only the human can make an impact.